Hello, food truck fans. Welcome to this year's food truck convention. Some of you have been to our gatherings before. I see many familiar faces. You know how burger science has advanced from many years ago when we began our brotherhood as a spin-off from the Roadkill Association. We've come a long way. I stand in awe of the great food truck pioneers like Louise Nichols and her husband Frank, who were the first to perfect the fast food delivery of free hot dogs for the police officers who were involved in high-speed chases. And let's not forget Flane Beasley, who negotiated the rules for this year's brand new Indianapolis 500-mile food truck competition. And remember, the last 100 miles include a beautiful, and I might add tasteful, food fight with watermelons. But let's focus on burger science. There's still much we need to do. We need redder ketchup. We need more yellow in the mustard. And dare I say, we need a better burger. We need a bigger, better burger, perhaps with butter. We need a bigger, better butter burger, and hopefully it will not be bitter. We don't need a bitter, better butter burger. We just need a bigger, better butter burger. You are here, but soon you will be there.
Is that it?
Yeah.
What? Never mind.
I finally found the unaltered audio, and I transcribed it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this thing. I'm back, finally.
Yeah.
It's been a weird time.
It has been. It's been an interesting couple of weeks, months, however the hell long it's been. I lost track.
Yeah, me too. I'll tell you about it later. It was weird. There was a fish. I don't know, man.
Interesting.
I decided to go ahead and watch all the Die Hard movies.
I've seen the first one. It's pretty good.
First I watched Die Hard. I watched Die Harder. I watched Die Harderer. I watched Die Hardest. I watched the fifth movie, Die Harderest. And then, of course, the German bootleg, Die Fledermaus.
So did you actually watch the Die Hard movies?
No, I thought of that joke weeks ago, and I've been holding on to it for weeks now, waiting for this dumb moment.
So
I thought about it long, and I wrote it down in a sticky note, and I kept it on my desk. And I'm like, I gotta do this the next time we talk.
So you know what's funny though about like the Die Hard movies and their titles?
Yeah.
So like,
there's no Die Harder.
Well, there is Die Harder actually.
I think it's just a tagline though.
No, literally, it's called the second movie is called Die Harder.
I don't think it is because I just looked at this the other day, and I think it's actually just called Die because it's only on the poster. The movie is listed as Die Hard 2 on Wikipedia and IMDb.
Well, let's look it up.
Is it a tagline or a subtitle? That's what I can't figure out.
I'm pretty sure it's... Wait, let's see.
The film's original advertising used Die Harder as a tagline, and many releases of the film marketed the movie under the title Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Okay, so it turns out it's both.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, what's funny is that okay, so let's see, what's the order of the let me find the like a list of all their names so I can make this point.
Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Live Free and Die Hard.
Live Free or Die Hard. Yeah, Good Day to Die Hard.
A Good Day to Die Hard.
And it looks like they're making a new one just called McLean.
Seriously? What is it with the friggin' it's the 20 years later sequel and it's just the name of the guy?
I don't know.
It's not the first time this has happened.
What my point is that like the name Die Hard, I'm pretty sure the point is that he's like a die-hard detective. Like, he takes his job very seriously, or he's a cop or whatever. He's Die Hard.
I don't know.
So it's funny that everything after that takes it like, so I guess Die Hard is supposed to be like an adjective, but every title after that treats it like a verb. You know what I mean? So it's first one's called Die Hard because he's a die-hard cop. The second one, Die Harder.
It refers to the guy. I won't spoil it, but it refers to the guy at the end who dies hard.
Yeah.
That guy. Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know. So what do you think?
A Good Day to Die Hard.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No! It's not! Christmas is incidental to the plot. It has the trappings of Christmas, but it's not crucial to the understanding of the plot. If you change the holiday, if you change it to any other holiday, or even just you could come up with any other contrived reason for why because they pick Christmas because like this is the day when everybody they'll have the least security or whatever, so it'll be for whatever reason this is an opportunity. But it's like it's not about Christmas, so it's not a Christmas movie. Christmas is incidental to what happens in this movie.
I think we've actually already had this conversation here before.
I don't know.
My thought is I don't really care. I think it's fun to watch it around Christmas anyways.
I don't know.
This is one of those issues. It puts me in the Christmassy mood. It's got the now I have a machine gun ho 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 thing. It's got, I think it plays Let It Snow at the end. Takes place at a Christmas party. It snows throughout the movie. There's Christmas decorations. I don't know. It feels like a Christmas movie.
But those are just trappings. It's not about, none of the themes in this movie are the themes of anything having to do with Christmas. Christmas is just incidental in the setting.
I don't know. Still puts me in the Christmassy mood.
I mean, that's like saying that Cowboy Bebop the movie is a Halloween movie because it happens around the time of Halloween. But it's like it's not about Halloween. You haven't seen the movie yet, though. You'll see what I mean when you watch it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What are we talking about today, anyways?
I don't know. I was thinking art. I had some interesting discussions the other day, and I was thinking that might be cool to talk about.
Well, let's talk about art then.
Let me start you off with this simple question. Where exactly do you draw the line when it comes to stylism?
Define stylism.
Okay, here's my example. If we're talking, and when I say art, I'm meaning a broad speaking. So like movies, TV shows, comic books, anything that's created that could be considered art. I'm meaning like the broad category of art in general. When it's something stylistic, okay, the good example is South Park. It's the way it's animated is very limited, but it's intentional. So I could say it's poorly animated, but they very intentionally have animated it to make it look, because they actually did they rush it. It's a very quick process. They used to just rush it. Now they can just do it quickly. And it actually was made of paper. And now I think it might be digital, but they're still mimicking paper. Bottom line, it's very limited. It's a very choppy animation, but it's entirely intentional. So can you really say if that's good or bad animation?
I see your point. Actually, funny thing about South Park is the only one that actually used paper was like the pilot, which I think was like a Christmas episode. That was the only one that actually where they did actual like paper cutouts and like stop motion, which I think is actually probably an astounding amount of effort. But since then,
stop motion is always a lot of effort.
Yeah, but now they just use computers. You know, it's all animated, and yes, now they can crank out episodes super fast. Which is also how they're able to have such like topical comedy, I guess. Like their episodes that come out are always very up to date with what's going on because they're usually made like within a couple of weeks of when they're released. You know,
which I mean, I feel like has the side effect of making the show not very rewatchable. Because like usually when shows are topical, it's about a broader issue, and they only talk about. It's like usually you get one or two per season, but it's like if every episode is an incredibly specific topical issue, then upon rewatch, how are you supposed to rewatch that show anyways?
I mean, if the jokes are funny, then you'll probably still laugh.
Are the jokes funny though?
Some of them. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of South Park. In fact, I
do not watch South Park.
In fact, I've only ever seen like clips from South Park. I've never actually watched the show like in its entirety. I think I've seen like one episode.
No, I've never watched. The only time I've seen it is when it would be playing on the TV in the break room, and I was eating lunch.
Break room where?
Where I worked one time.
Oh. So not where you currently work?
No.
Oh.
At the location.
They had a TV there?
It was in the break room, but it's not like you could hear it.
I didn't know they had a break room. I thought that.
Well, I mean, it's the nook in the back, the big square with all the lockers and not lockers, they're cubbies, but there's a table and I don't know. I started eating in my car and then I never stopped eating in my car, so I didn't use the break room out for a long while.
Yeah, say I used to take my lunch breaks in my car when I had to drive a lot for work. Only problem is like there's only a few months out of the year where that really like is comfortable to do, because then the rest of the time you're either freezing your ass off or burning to death unless you're running the engine.
Yeah.
And I don't know, running the engine for an entire hour lunch break is not a very smart use of gas.
It's not an hour long.
Mine was.
Oh, I didn't get an hour. I get a half hour. Really, know. It's like 28 minutes because you got to get into the car and then you got to leave yourself time to get out of the car.
It's just, not the smartest use of gas. Not to mention pollution.
I don't care about pollution. I just know that gas wasn't as expensive back then and it was worth it.
You heard it here first, folks. Pollution isn't important.
No. I just outsource the pollution.
Outsource it. Send it to Mars.
Yeah. Put a giant funnel on top of every smokestack and outsource the pollution somewhere else. Put it in the ocean.
You know what I am kind of worried about, though? Like, what if someday they actually do colonize Mars, right? Like, what environmentalists always say, it's like, we only have one Earth. If we ruin this one, where are we going to live? So say we actually do colonize another planet, and like, now we can just go there if things get bad enough. It's like, what are the environmentalists going to say? Are we just going to let the Earth go completely to crap because we have an escape plan?
Happen. We're never getting off the Earth, and we are never going to ruin it as badly as. Never mind. I don't want to talk about this one.
So we've already ruined it pretty badly. Either way,
the Earth. Well, okay. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Oh, what were you wanting to say? Something controversial?
Well, it would be, but I don't want to. I just don't want to. I want to talk about art.
All right, well, let's talk about art.
Stylistically, because that's the defense. It's like it's a stylistic choice. It's supposed to look like this. So in a sense, they're cheating because animation is usually made a year in advance. That's how long it takes. They just make multiple episodes at once, so that you're not having to wait a year. But yeah, well, it's gotten faster, but it used to be longer. Bottom line, there's a multiple month period at least of time for that it takes to make episodes. So it's an arduous process. So with South Park, it almost feels like cheating because it's like they're doing a rush job and it looks like it's a rush job, but they wanted it to look that way. So is it bad animation or does the idea of it being stylistic protect it?
I'm just gonna say that they won the game. That's what I'm gonna say, because I don't actually think South Park looks that bad. It's very iconic, is what it is. You can look at the characters from South Park, even just the animation from South Park, and you immediately know what it is. So it's like they've got it all. Yeah, they've got like a style that actually doesn't look too bad. They've got something that's very iconic that you can just immediately recognize as their work. And if anyone else tried to copy it, it would become very immediately obvious that they were trying to copy it. Yeah. So I just say I would just say that what was it, Matt Stone and Trey Parker? I think that's the guys that made South Park. I think that's their name.
Okay.
I'd say that they won the game. That's what I think.
But that's because you're saying it doesn't look bad because it's iconic. But I mean, if we go by like objective standards of what typically is considered good animation, it's not fluid. It doesn't have very many frames. It's very cheaply produced, like actually cheaply produced. But it's all intentional. Yeah. So
hear a downside.
Can it be judged? Can it be judged as bad, or does stylist? Because that's another thing I've heard applied to movies. Movies that are like stupid on purpose.
Yeah, they don't usually work though.
Well, no, but like for example, because there's different kinds of stupid. But I've heard something like it's a common thing in movie criticism, probably from Roger Ebert at least once. But it's this idea that like, well, the movie is stupid on purpose, and then it's like, well, it's stupid on purpose is still stupid, and it's like, but if you're doing it on purpose, does that mean something?
I think it depends on the results. Like if it's stupid, like if it's stupid on purpose and the product actually like comes out funny as a result, then I'd say it's a good thing. But if it's stupid on purpose but none of the jokes land, then no. So I guess to answer your question, stylistic, it's just such a case by case thing that I can't really make just like a concrete line. It's more just like you kind of have to see the product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I guess in the case of South Park, like, I just like, yeah, it's cheap, yeah, it's choppy, but you know what? I think they did a pretty good job with it, and I don't hear a downside. So I think that they just kind of won the game of like, you know, it's like, yeah, maybe they're cheating, but so what? Like, you know, they're smart, they figured it out. Good for them.
Well, that's so what is the question I'm trying to figure out the answer to? Because in some case, like for example, Mel Brooks movies are stupid, but they're stupid in the sense of absurdity. Like he's trying to be absurd, which is objectively, but like it's smartly written, and so they're very funny.
Yeah,
and that was on purpose.
Well, there you just
but that
said
was
it
also
right
a
there.
comedy.
You just said it right there. They're smartly written, so they're not actually stupid. They're just goofy.
Yeah. Well, but like those are kind of the same thing. I'm just trying to figure it out because, and there's another thing. So you know how I'll use The Room as the example because that's always the example everyone uses. That is not a good movie. Can we agree on that?
I don't think anyone would disagree with you on that. Nobody watches that movie because it's good. They watch it because it's fascinating.
Well, yeah, because it's entertaining. Because you got the Tommy Wiseau, who's a complete and utter weirdo, and he shows up out of nowhere with a ton of money, funds the whole thing out of his own pocket, and really seems like he did genuinely try his hardest. He just couldn't make him. He's like Ed Wood, but modern.
Except Ed Wood's movies weren't that good. I mean, like his weren't even really enjoyably bad in a lot of cases.
No, that's the thing with Ed Wood. Ed Wood is another one of those classic case studies of what happens when you combine incredible ambition and drive with a complete and utter lack of talent.
Right.
It's just one of those weird circumstances, and the results are, well, things like The Room and Plan 9 from Outer Space. You were kind of falling asleep through Plan 9 from Outer Space, though.
Tends to happen. I watched I watched the movie Ed Wood recently, though. That was really good.
The biopic one?
Yeah. I think it's biopic. I've never heard anyone say biopic.
I've only heard people say biopic.
Well, I've always heard biopic because it's a biographical picture.
I don't know. I think it's one of those words that becomes shorter.
Yeah, but it's still...
Maybe.
Biopic just sounds better to me. But either way, yeah, it's a great movie.
Anyways.
Johnny Depp played Ed Wood.
Oh, yeah, Johnny Depp. What a topical reference.
Is it?
Bio.
Is that topical?
I don't know, but
I don't think that's
by the time
anymore.
This comes out, I don't know.
Even when we're recording this, I don't think that's in the news anymore. I'm kind of glad, honestly. I was tired of hearing about it.
Yeah,
I mean, good for him.
I'm just glad he won.
Yeah, good for him. You know what? Good
won.
for Johnny. He's great, but I was very tired of that being literally the only thing I was hearing about for a while.
Yeah,
because it became obvious very early in the trial that he was going to win.
Well, yeah, because Amber her. Oh gosh, I just remembered. There's a Centaur World joke in here. I'm just not sure how to work it in naturally. But anyways, it's just she's so blatantly like evil that it's kind of like it was kind of incredible.
Yeah, no, that's just insane. That's what was crazy about it. It's like,
why was there even a trial? It's like, why didn't you just look at this and be like, no?
Well, you know,
I judge against you.
Gotta do due process and everything, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
even after. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just saying that's what was fascinating because it was like everyone like kind of suspected at that point that she was the problem, but like that trial revealed that trial revealed just how like just how off the deep end she really was.
And I think you mean off the deep end. Okay. I'll leave now.
Yeah, so anyways,
am I fired as co-host?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Someday. Maybe
yeah, I'm Mingus, by the way.
Oh yeah, and I'm Futterman. We're almost 20 minutes in, so
that's fine. That's about when it happens. Okay, so let's think about this. Well, here, let me just start you off. What is your definition of art? What's your definition?
A creative, something that is like a creative project, I guess. It's kind of the simplest way to put it. I believe art.
No, but like your personal definition.
Yeah, like a creative project, like something. It's something that someone creates using their creativity. that's used to express something, whether it's just like to provide entertainment or to create a message or just to look pretty. It's something with creativity that's made with a purpose, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So yeah, no, that's pretty similar. Mine is that it has to have been created, and there has to have been effort put into it. Like somebody at the very least had to try. Because like when I think of like, you know how modern art sucks.
Yeah, well, see, that's kind of what I was going to say is the problem with your like definition is that in this case, effort is kind of subjective.
Well, no, I mean, because there has to be, because it's like when you're trying to decide like what's good art or bad art. Because like, my dad was talking about his definition, his art definition was similar, but he had the caveat that it had to be beautiful, and that if it's not like, and not beautiful in the sense of, oh, what the dress is beautiful. It's like there has to be. It's I don't know. It's like the abstract kind of beautiful. Do you know what I mean? The concept of beauty. Well, because he contends, and I agree with him, that like things like you remember that one, like the banana taped to the wall. That I don't think that's art, because yes, it was created by a person, but there is not effort put into that. That's a banana taped to a wall. I don't consider that to be actual art.
I guess there though, that's kind of a slippery slope though, to say that, like, because it did technically take effort to tape a banana to a wall. So it's like, where do you draw the line between like what counts as effort and what doesn't?
Well, for me, effort, and the other example I want to bring up is that one guy who took a crucifix and then threw it into a toilet bowl full of piss and then took a picture and he called it Piss Christ. It's like, that's not art. You didn't create anything. You just threw something together and took a picture. Like, you didn't really create anything. For me, the art, what I mean by effort is like you have to, like, it has to feel, at the very least, it needs to feel like you actually tried. Like, even if it doesn't turn out well, because like, you know how like a child, like they might try to draw a picture and like of a person, and all they can muster is a really squiggly stick person.
Yeah.
But that's still art, because that was genuinely they tried as hard as they could, and that was genuinely the best they could do. So even if it's bad art by conventional standards, like if you're looking later in their life, for their level and for what they were able to do and for how hard they tried, it's still art.
But would you say that an artist always has to try their absolute hardest for it to count as art, though? Because, I mean, like, Leonardo da Vinci, or, you know, just any famous painter could probably use, like, a quarter of their effort and just draw something that would surpass what most people could just draw. So, I mean, like...
It's not a matter of trying your... Like, that's not an... It's not a literal... It's not an absolute thing. It's like... When I say try your absolute hardest, I mean, because you don't always have to actually literally give everything you can give. You just have to actually put in effort to it. Even if you can do it easily. Like, if somebody is a practiced artist, it would be easier for them to draw something than for me to draw something. And after you get to a certain point, it's probably like almost second nature. And like, there are things you could do to push yourself, but drawing like maybe like a basic portrait, for example, you might get to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm really good at portraits. I can just whip one up in like an hour. But like it might be easy, but there's still effort. Like they have to apply the stuff that they do to make it easy. It doesn't like it would be hard for me to do the same thing. Is any what I'm saying making sense to you right now?
I think so, yeah. But I guess here's what I'm hearing though, is that like to you, calling something art is inherently positive. Like if something earns the title of being called art, then it is successful. That's kind of where I would disagree, though, because I think just because...
Necessarily. Because I think bad art exists.
Well, yeah, for sure. And I guess that's what I mean is, like, in the case of, I don't know, the Piss Christ example, I guess I would say technically, yeah, that guy did create something. He created that photograph. So it's like, you know, it's like... I would consider photography to be a form of art. So I'd say... You could say by the strictest definition, he did create a piece of art by doing that. But it's just a very, very terrible piece of art, and he's a terrible artist and should probably quit.
Yeah.
Well, should probably piss on something else.
I wouldn't consider that art, because it's like a lot of modern art, I feel like falls into the same problem of maybe it takes time, it takes effort in that you have to exert energy to move an object, like that kind of effort, but it doesn't take effort as in I had to think about this for a while, I had to plan it out. Like the guy who's like, here's a page of the phone book, I put them behind glass, it's art now, it's in the MoMA. It's like, that's not art. You didn't do anything. You just put paper behind glass and realize that people will be dumb enough to pay for it.
Yes, I guess that's
not art.
See, that's where it gets difficult though, because it's like you can almost say, like, he like, I don't know, because he didn't create that page. He just ripped it out of a phone book and put it in a frame. So you can't really say he created it. But then I guess if you're calling the entire piece like the framed phone like thing itself, then you call it art. I guess. Like, I guess you can make the argument it is. I don't know that I would agree with that. I don't know. This is why it's hard. It's like
art. It's only art in a very technical sense. It's art because people like the MoMA exists. That's the only reason why it's art. I feel like, as a general rule of thumb, if somebody who is not an artist, like, actually, like, you know, when people say like, "Oh, my 6-year-old could do that," if a 6-year-old actually could do it, it's probably not art in that sense. And it's like, what effort? What are you trying? Are you saying anything by putting pieces of paper behind glass? Did you actually have to think about that? Did you actually do anything in any way that says anything about anything? Because it's like, what are you doing then?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's like, I guess art ends up being a really subjective thing, which it really doesn't feel like art should be. Like, art, like, calling something art should just be pretty, like, it shouldn't be a subjective thing, but it kind of ends up being, because one person's definition of art, I don't know. That's hard. It's one of those things that's really hard to just, it's like, you can't really give just a concrete definition, but you know it when you see it. Like a banana taped to a wall. Like, I don't know. I guess,
or that one Supreme Court justice on the subject of porn.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know it. You can't define it, but you know it when you see it.
I don't understand that. It's like, you absolutely can define porn.
I mean, you can, but every definition is going to have, like, you know, it's going to have its fall short in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a comprehensive definition. So far, the best I have is photos or videos that are explicitly designed for the purpose of sexual titillation and show stuff.
What about drawings?
And the reason that that's why the drawings are erotic, but they're not porn because it's not real. When it's a draw, like, because I think of like Renaissance paintings or like stuff from that era. Those are naked people, but it's not porn. So it's the same with drawing. It's not, if it's not a real photograph or video of a person, then it's not going to have the same effect on your brain, even at the subconscious level. And so what you end up, it's an approximation, but it's not actually porn. It's just a mildly erotic, at the end of the day.
No, I would disagree with you there, that there absolutely can be like drawn porn, and my evidence is the fact that Rule 34 exists.
Well, yeah, no, they're drawing erotic art, and it's definitely going to excite some people, but it's not real porn, because if there's not an actual image, of genitals when you draw. There's a collection of ink and pencil marks together that look like that, but it's not actually an image of genitals.
I don't know. Say, I would strongly disagree, because for the longest time, like, I think even in ancient times, they've actually found like ancient porn that was like either hand drawn or sketched on a wall.
Well, yeah, they didn't have videos or cameras.
So I don't think it has to be a physical like photograph or video for it to count as porn, because I think the stuff that people draw can actually be in a lot of ways worse than what could actually be photographed. So
I wonder why people bother drawing that, because it's like, I mean, we have if you wanted to find, you could just go on the internet. So, like, why bother drawing it? Well, it's just there now.
How do you think it gets on the internet? Someone has to draw it.
No, but you don't have to draw it. I mean, you could find actual photos if you wanted.
Some people, I don't know. This is a really weird discussion. Some people...
Yeah, I didn't expect it to go here, but here we are.
I mean, I guess porn is tangentially related to art.
I don't consider porn to be art.
I would say the reason... Okay, so, like, I guess R34 is a good example of that. You know, like, it's usually... People make Rule 34 art when they want to see pornography of specific characters that would not normally appear in that, and like those characters are usually like animated characters or something, so you know you can't have actual photographs of them. But I would say that the pictures people make would probably still count as porn, because they're made for the entire purpose to be erotic and, you know, arousing.
Well, see, I would just count it as erotic art, because I think for it to be porn, there has to be an actual naked person in there, and if there's no naked person, if you're drawing it, because there's no person at all.
Yes, and I think that's where people would probably disagree with you, because, like, yeah.
I'm thinking in terms of like how it would affect your brain on a chemical level. The simple matter is that it's pictures and videos of actual people affect the brain differently than anything else, and that's why it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, but they both have some level of effect, and I don't think either of them is really good.
Well, I don't know. I don't. As far as I don't think there's an effect from drawn image. Well, I mean,
yeah, there absolutely is. No, there is. Take it from the psychologist.
You don't get to have those credentials on this podcast.
I don't know. I'm just saying that the way your body reacts to it can be exactly the same, which has that same effect on your brain. Like it's.
I think there just is something, because it's at the end of the day, it's still not a real image. Yeah, so it's like it's only going to affect your brain if it's a real image.
It's not equal to the effect of a real image, but there is a similar effect. That's what. That's...
Anyways, let's get back onto regular art.
Yeah, let's do that. So,
welcome to the Placeholder podcast, ladies and gentlemen, where we discuss.
Oh, hey, you know what? Now's
you
a good
never
time
know what you never know what you're gonna get.
Well, hey, we're at the half-hour mark. Maybe we should just take an ad break on that note to recollect our thoughts.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That sounds like a good idea.
Ad break.
Sponsored by...
Here you go.
I'll save it for later. How about?
Start licking.
Takes a lot to make a stew.
Pinch of salt and laughter too.
A scoop of kids to add the spice.
A pinch of salt to make it nice.
No, I'm gonna kill you.
What, did I say it wrong?
Yes, it's a dash of love to make it nice.
Oh, shoot. A dash of love to make it nice. I'm gonna pull up the lyrics.
And you got too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Wait, are we gonna have the same problem where we try to sync again?
Yeah, you just don't worry about syncing with me. If it sounds synced on my end, it'll be fine.
Oh, okay. Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks. No, this isn't gonna work.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
It's fine.
Takes a lot to make a stew when it comes to me and you.
And him, and her, and the baby too. Too many cooks, it's true.
Saying goes, it'll spoil the broth. No, that was my line.
Oh, I didn't know we were taking
your line is the next line.
Okay.
Family is like a soup. Everyone adds an extra scoop, and too many cooks.
Oh my god.
Too many cooks. Upon returning, Lemongrab plucks up the crack in the traveler's head with lemon candy, and the phrase "yo yo, it's grease," reflecting a satisfaction with his own being. Using with pride the word Matthew used with disdain in reference to Lemongrab's bodily existence.
What are
it's
you
the perfect
reading
resolution
now?
For his character.
Isn't Lemongrab an Adventure Time character?
I was reading a excerpt from an article explaining a season 6 episode of Adventure Time.
That sounded way too deep to be Adventure Time. Or an article.
Are you kidding, man?
I mean, I guess not, but...
You have no idea. Season 6 is like just hardcore philosophy at that point.
Huh. Yeah, that's still a show I need to watch.
I know you do. This is one of those times where it's like, if only you lived closer, because I really would like to watch the whole show with you at the same time.
I mean...
But it's not practical.
You can watch them separately, but, at the same time.
That's not the same thing.
Not quite. Anyways, should we get back to art?
I guess we could do the thing. I guess we could each get a tablet and set up a FaceTime, and then I'll put that on the couch next to me, and then you put it on your couch or whatever. I guess that could work.
Probably.
But I don't have a camera, so that's where we are. Where did we leave off about art?
Art. I don't know. We just stopped talking about pornography, so. So how about what?
I guess okay. It's like.
Oh yeah, we're talking about how to define art.
Yeah. I think at the very least it needs to have been created and there needs to have been effort put into it. But even that definition just assumes that people are the ones doing the creating. Because like AI art is a thing now, and it's like, is that art? It was created, but there's arguably no effort into it, but it's still an image. So I mean, it's technically art, I guess.
I would argue that whoever wrote the code to create the AI art is probably the one that, did the work, did the effort. I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's a tough one. I think it's case by case. Like, what was it?
I almost think AI art is too. It's like one of those things. Like, it's just it can't be considered. It's too new.
Yeah, I don't know how it fits in because it's. Well, I don't know because that's getting into some really philosophical questions. Like, is an AI creating art? Does that count as creativity?
No, but I don't know. It's not. Well, it's not creative. It's literally not creativity. It is entirely a system of algorithms and bit rates and.
But if it simulates creativity, like.
But it's not. It's not though.
But I mean, the end product ends up being something that looks like it was creative. So it's like.
Well,
can
sure.
we not call it art?
Yeah, well, no, because I think you can call it art for this reason. The way I look at AI art generators is they don't generate art on their own. Someone has to input a command. Someone has to put in a prompt. So from that sense, you could just consider AI art generator as a tool that can be used by a person to create art.
Yeah, so that one's tough though, because we've played, you and I, like, I mean, I guess this is a teaser for a coming episode, but we've played around with some AI art generators quite a bit. One of the ones we've used
many hours actually.
Yeah, I mean the one everyone knows about is Dolly Mini, which for the longest time
don't tell them about the other one. I don't want people to flock to it.
I don't even remember the name of the other one. So, but yeah, I was gonna say everyone knows about Dolly Mini, but that one for the longest time nobody could use because Markiplier made a video about it, and then the site got flooded with traffic and just became completely unusable from the sheer overload.
Yeah. It works now. I think they upgraded it.
Yeah, they transitioned it to another site that apparently can handle more traffic or something. Because yeah, it works now. But here's what I'd say: like that AI art generator, literally all you do is you type in a prompt and it just generates pictures. That one's like pretty minimal effort. You just tell it what you want to see and it gives you its interpretation of that. Most of the effort's being done on the machine's part. The other one we played with is very similar, but it's got a lot more little things you can tweak with. Like you can adjust the weight of each word that you put into the prompt. You can adjust, like, you can add multiple prompts that like work together, and you can like what else? I don't know. There's like all these little settings you can tweak. So that one really does feel like a tool. Like playing with that one, I actually got pretty good with it. So I started to learn how to actually generate pictures closer to what I was thinking of. It becomes almost like you're collaborating with, a robot.
Let's put up a teaser. I have a specific image of yours that you created.
Which one?
Hold on. I'm in my
drop it
folder,
into Discord.
Wait. I'm trying to find. Did I remember to download this one?
But yeah, I will say some of these pictures that I've generated, I'm actually like kind of proud of because they look really cool.
Wait a minute.
What?
Where is it?
Where's what?
Can't find it. Hold on. Is this only my art? There's no way this is only my... Oh!
If you're on the drive, remember, we separated our art into two different folders.
I found it. It's still in a zip file. Hold on. Here, you keep talking. I'll just extract this. I have a very specific image I want to put up into the podcast right now.
Oh. But yeah, so I got pretty good at messing with the variables and the weights and stuff, and generated some art that's actually really cool that I would have never been able to draw by hand, but it really only sorry, one second. Okay, sorry, I was reading a text message. Yeah, but like working with that other AI art generator whose name I don't even remember the name of, it really does kind of just feel almost like you're collaborating with the AI to generate a piece of art. Like Dolly Mini feels like you're just telling an AI what to do and then it does all the work.
Well, like what is work in this case? You're not, because it doesn't do it by itself.
Yeah, no, it runs it through an algorithm and everything. It's AI. I mean, that's what it does. That's how it works. So, I mean, the AI is doing work. I mean, like, I don't know. It's doing work in the same way that machines do work, like a factory. An entirely unmanned factory is still doing work. It's just doing it independent of humans.
Okay, yep. I've got your art now.
Which
Here
one?
It comes. Well, I mean, it's already in the Discord. put this into the podcast.
That's a bad example of what I just talked about, but okay.
That's
literally the very first one I generated.
I know. But it's still, you can still tell what it is.
Yeah, this is one. So yeah, this is let me find it.
No, don't tell them what it is at first. Just put it there. They'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say. So this is literally like
here. Fine, I'll put.
I'm getting it
here. Fine, put this one in there too.
Yeah, well, I'll start with the one you gave me, but
yeah, here. Put this other one that you made in there.
Okay, which version of that one was it? Okay, it's this one. Okay, there we go. Here it is. Beautiful. I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So this is literally the
What
first...
is this?
It's literally the first picture I generated. So like I got this. We found an AI art generator that actually worked because, as I said, Dolly Mini didn't. So I literally just thought of like the first thing that popped into my head because I wanted to try it out. I didn't mess with the weights or the variables or anything. I just typed in the blank prompt and set it to go. This one was Gordon Ramsay fighting Master Chief. And now, I mean, you can tell. I mean, you can tell it's okay. Gordon Ramsay, you can obviously tell it's Gordon Ramsay, but Master Chief's a little iffy. But once you hear that it's Master Chief, it's like that is Master Chief, like very obviously Master Chief.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a taste of AI art. And what was the other one you wanted me to put up there?
I put it in the Discord. It's Cosmic Shia LaBeouf.
Right.
And yes, that is exactly it. It's exactly what it sounds like.
Well, I mean,
it's abstractly exactly what it sounds like.
Here it is. It's one of these.
Meanwhile, the AI art of Swamp Thing just looks exactly like Swamp Thing.
Which one is that?
I don't know. It's just
What's the name of the file?
This file just says Shia.
Okay, so it's the first one because I actually generated.
Hold on.
Because I generated 3 different versions of that picture.
Yeah, it might be. Wait, it's Shia. It's no, yeah, that's just Shia 1.
Yeah, which here actually
Shia 2 and 3 don't look as good.
Yeah. Okay. So, oops.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Okay. Here's Cosmic Shia LaBeouf. I don't remember the prompt I typed in. I think I just typed in Shia LaBeouf, and then I set it to use because that one you can also like use some presets, like some preset art styles. I did the cosmic style and then put Shia LaBeouf. So that one actually came out pretty good. But then what's cool is you can actually use that generator to what's the word? You can like develop the picture further, like let the AI, you can like change the variables and let the AI work on it longer. So you can actually kind of develop the picture as you go. So for example, I took that one and put it through the generator again and we got this. I don't remember what I changed about it, but this is the second version of the Shia LaBeouf picture, which you can't probably see it, Mingus, but it's ghastly.
No, I can't. I know what it is. I have a copy of it.
Yeah, and then I'll put the third one in just because I don't even remember what it looked like.
I am an influencer. What can an influencer do?
What?
What?
Never mind.
I will say.
Here we go.
You know, but do you remember? Okay, you remember that one I generated? We don't necessarily have to find it right. You remember the one I generated that literally just straight up looked like Dave McKean's art?
Not off the top of my head. Actually, this third Shia LaBeouf picture is actually pretty good looking, though. Like, it doesn't look like Shia LaBeouf, but it looks like something out of a horror movie. Or something. I don't know.
Okay, here. You know what? Here, this might be able to I put it back in the Discord. Put this one up. This is one I generated.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it just straight up looks like the art of Dave McKean. Here, you put at that. I'll go find a picture of Dave McKean's art, and we can do a side by side. Would be a good one that looks like it's in this style? I typed in Dave McKean. Dave McKean art. Show me the money.
This works as kind of a nice teaser for the episode because.
Okay, yeah. This is a good. This will be a good one for comparison. So there's that AI generated
one. Yeah, here you go.
Here, and here's another one in the Discord. Put this one up right next to it. This one is an actual piece of art that Dave McKean made. This has been his style for a while now. So the AI art, obviously it looks like it was made by an AI, except in this case, it actually looks like the art of a real person. And that's because this real person, Mr. Dave McKean, has a very surrealistic style. I don't actually know if surrealism was what he does. I would assume that's what he does.
I would call this surrealism.
Dave McKean.
Yeah,
Hold on, I'm just gonna look at his.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look at his Wikipedia page.
Definitely surrealism.
See what he's.
So
he likes using he likes making collages and found objects. It's like digital art.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I think he just straight up arranges stuff in a weird way and then takes a picture of it and then has that be the art. And even there, that's still art. But it's like, so it looks the same. What would make this one art over the other one when they have the same aesthetic? That's why I think that the AR is a tool. Because to say that this isn't art, what objectively makes this not art as opposed to Dave McKean's piece?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, there's a nice teaser for our AI art episode coming up. I guess now we've gotten like the explanation for how the AI art generator works out of the way, so next time we can just jump right into it.
Yeah, but I've got to make a gallery. It's going to take me a while.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that one won't be for probably a while, but coming eventually.
We got to find that one piece of classical music. You know which one I'm talking about?
Probably.
It's the one that goes. That one. With strings.
Yeah, I feel like I should know the name of that one, but I don't.
I don't know the name of anything. I just know that I've heard things.
If you just looked up stereotypical art gallery music, you'd probably find it.
I don't think I would. Maybe I would. I should try it.
Yeah, I'm going to try it right now.
I am an influencer.
Typical art gallery music.
Dave McKean once wrote a 10-issue comic book series called Cages. I have the whole thing. Do you know when it was published?
Nope. Here,
we complain about Doomsday Clock. This was published from December of 1990 to May of 1996, and there were 10 issues.
Wait, 1990 to 96?
Yes.
It took them 6 years to publish 10 issues?
I don't know. It's Dave McKean. It's not. You got to think about it. You're thinking about it wrong.
Wait, who is this?
Dave McKean.
Oh.
I mean, he usually doesn't. I don't think he does He does comic books sometimes, but not usually whole issues. He's more of a cover guy. He did a lot of covers of the Sandman.
Gotcha.
But interior art, I mean, I think you can tell why he doesn't do interior art as much, because this art is a bit harder to tell a narrative with.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
That's why he usually does like single images, but every now and then he does some interior art. But usually that's when you want to do an issue that's like screwy.
So now what?
But let's get back to burger science because there's still much to do. No, I'm not going to do that again. It's a question of I have a definition for art, and I think that there are objective like whether or not you like it or not is going to be subjective, but I do think there are objective standards in art, at least within the system that you're trying to work with. Like you don't judge a surrealist painting for not being realistic because it was never trying to be. But you can draw a realistic painting for not being very good realism. Oh gosh, I forgot to make a point. So you know how we were talking about the movies earlier?
Yeah.
So The Room is a bad movie. Tommy Wiseau didn't know how to make a movie, and he basically got everything about movie making, like all the conventions of pacing and the shots and the writing and the line delivery. He got all of it wrong. But at the end of the day, what was created was an entertaining product. So how much does his intention matter? Because he intended to make an actual, like, legitimate drama, but what he ended up with was like a farcical comedy. But it's still entertaining. So is it a bad movie or is it a good movie? But like that's
no, it's definitely a bad movie. It's terrible.
But why?
But it's entertaining.
But isn't the base purpose of movies to be entertaining?
Yeah, but I would say you kind of have to judge it on like the objective versus the outcome. Like you said, his objective was not to make a comedy; it was to make a drama, and at that he utterly failed. And like you said, yeah, it just objectively is a really bad movie. The only reason it's so fascinating, like it's so entertaining, is because it's fascinating. It's like,
well, yeah, it's fascinating how wrong he got it.
yeah, exactly. It's like The Room is really like a lightning in a bottle situation. Tommy Wiseau is such an unusual person. He's the only person that could have made something like that.
I don't know. Ed Wood might have been able to make that.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, just Tommy Wiseau, like I said, he got everything wrong. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning.
Yeah,
he got just everything wrong in such a fascinating way that it's like watching a train wreck. You know.
Did you take down the Dave McKean art?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Took down all the art.
Yeah, well, because I don't know, because there's some things like that game. It's been going around for a while now. You know that game, Cruelty Squad.
Nope.
Have you seen any pictures of that?
Nope, I'm out of the loop.
Look up. Okay, look up some images of Cruelty Squad. It is. So let me know when you've seen them.
Cruelty Squad. Why haven't I heard of this game?
Don't know, but look up a few images of that.
It's got 10 out of 10 on Steam apparently. And it looks terrible.
Exactly. It looks like garbage, right? Very low graphics, ugly graphics, like it hurts your eyes to look at kind of graphics, right?
Yeah, but here, let's see. It's an immersive power fantasy simulator with tactical stealth elements set in a sewage-infused garbage world. So
what if I told you that this person knew the rules of video games so well that he basically, it's like it was one of the comments that like it takes a lot of talent to make a good game. It takes even more talent to make a good game and then make it look like a bad game. Because like the mechanics of this game, from what I've heard and what I've seen, are apparently incredibly solid. The writing is actually pretty clever. He just went out of his way to make it look like a janky, really low graphic game. So it looks like this, but does it look bad if this is what he wanted it to look like?
No, I'd say
how much
that
does
he
the
succeeded.
intention matter?
I'd say he succeeded.
But if it does, if it looks good, because it's ugly to look at. But he intentionally made it ugly, and this is the point where my dad, he disagreed with me. He was like, if art is trying to be ugly, then it's not really art, because he thinks art has to have that inherent beauty. And then when I brought him the attention of like it's Salvador Dali who made the Melty Clocks painting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one, like, that's not what clocks look like, but it was surrealism, so that's what it was supposed to look like. And it's like, and then I brought up like if I were to draw a portrait of a really ugly looking hag, like a fictional hag who doesn't actually exist, so I'm not actually reflecting reality, I'm making an intentionally ugly image. Is that not art then because it's ugly? And it's like, no, because you're trying to make an ugly person, but the art itself isn't ugly. And this is ugly, but he was trying to make it look ugly. Like he was trying to make it look like a very specific kind of game. Yeah. So if he succeeded in that, does it make it good or bad?
I mean, it sounds like this is a good game from everything you're saying. Like it sounds like this is pretty well regarded as a good game. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it does look ghastly. But yeah, I would say, yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of the same as like your old hag drawing. It's like it's supposed to look ugly, but it succeeds at looking ugly. So it's, I mean, I don't know, because it's like it's very obvious that whoever made this game is a competent game developer. They knew what they were doing. So it's like,
yes.
So yeah, I would say it succeeded at what it was trying to do. So it's not bad, and I would say it is art. I don't know. I guess there's a whole debate about whether video games count as art, but I would say they can. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's because there are objective standards. There is such a thing as good art and bad art. I believe there are things that people say are art but just aren't art, aka Mr. Banana on Taped on Wall and Invisible Sculpture guy. But it's like, how do you justify it? Because like I've even seen comic books where they intentionally make it look ugly, and it's like, well, this is ugly, and it's like, but it's supposed to be ugly. It's like, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still ugly and not appealing to look at. So is that good or bad? Like, how much does it actually matter? It's like, well, I wanted to make it bad, and it's like, yeah, but it's still bad though. Like some people do that. So I mean, some people do the thing where it's like, the movie doesn't get well received, and they're like, well, it was supposed to be a parody of movie, and like that's complete bullcrap. But
Do you have an example of that in mind?
Oh yeah, hold on, I can give you a few.
I mean, you just when you said that, it sounded like you were talking about something specific.
No, hold on, I just got to get the list up. Let's see if I can find a couple of lists of stuff that has been. Oh gosh, yeah. So here's one example. Do you know about All-Star Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder?
No.
With Crazy Steve as Batman and Dick Grayson, age 12.
Crazy Steve?
Where he calls himself the GD Batman and is like a psychopath for the whole story.
No,
it was written by Frank Miller.
I've never heard of this.
It's a terrible Batman comic, but like The Room, it's one of those things where it's so overly over the top terrible in every way that it just ends up being hilarious. And he's like, oh, after the fact, he's like, oh, it's a parody. Or like films. Let's go through a few films. Shyamalan once claimed that The Happening was actually just a parody of B movies. No one believes him.
No, he was definitely not making a parody. Well, because that one is obvious because it doesn't really have anything in common with a B movie. It's just a bad movie.
Well, no, but that's what people do. They're like, well, you see, the stilted acting was supposed to be... The stilted acting and nonsensical plot was supposed to be like that, because that's what B movies are like.
Actually, yeah, no, now that I think about it, I guess it's kind of like, it is shocking listening more to like a movie like Birdemic.
No, not Birdemic. Like, go further back. Like Monster A Go-Go back.
I don't know what Monster A Go-Go is, but...
Oh, Monster A Go-Go is great. So here, you want to know the plot of Monster A Go-Go?
I'm looking it up right now. Space capsule crash lands on Earth and the astronaut aboard disappears. Is there a connection between the missing man and the monster roaming the area? So I'm guessing the missing man is the monster?
No. See, that's where it gets even better. I wanted to tell you about Monster A Go-Go.
Well, you still can.
Okay. So now here's it's one of those like oh, come on. So essentially, here's what happens. The thing crashes, and a really tall guy with, like, some middling face prosthetics, like, crawls out, right?
Yeah.
And he's walking around, and he's inherently radioactive, and the rest of the world is like, oh, golly, the monster. We got to stop it. So they're trying to find him. And then, so they get a team of scientists. They try to capture the monster. They capture at one point, it escapes. But they never show that, by the way. They're like, the narrator's like, they captured it. And then the narrator's later like, it escaped again. And it's like, wait, what? And then, so they follow the movie into a sewer. And then suddenly the monster disappears. And then they receive a telegram that the astronaut who is apparently the monster was actually alive and well. And then, here's the ending narration. It's famous. As if a switch had been turned, as if an eye had been blinked, as if some phantom force in the universe had made a move eons beyond our comprehension. Suddenly, there was no trail. There was no giant, no monster, no thing called Douglas to be followed. It's like...
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Was that me?
So the twist is that there was no monster.
What?
It does not make... The movie doesn't make any sense, okay? Get past that. Let's just establish there's not a deeper meaning to this. It literally just doesn't make sense. The astronaut crashes, a giant radioactive man comes out, and they're like, oh, it's clearly him. They follow her around, and then it turns out that the astronaut actually was fine. He was fine the whole time in an ocean, and that there was never any monster. And then the movie just ends. The end.
Wait a minute. So did the monster, like, kill anybody?
No, it was just walking around being radioactive. I don't think it killed anyone.
So, like,
I think it just... It's like one of those movies, like it's like those older. Do you remember the Creeping Terror?
Vaguely, I think I slept through most.
Yeah, the Creeping Terror has a higher body count than this guy, and that was the movie. It's one of those movies where the monster is a thing and it walks around slowly, and then people die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of movies. It's like, oh no, a monster! There it goes. Scene of monster coming up on a couple. Oh no, a monster! There it goes again. Scene of monster walking through a city. Oh gosh, we got to stop the monster. It's just that for like an hour. And then they just at the very end of the movie, they're like, oh, they're tracking the monster. They've got the radioactive detectors and like, oh, it's in here. And then it just suddenly fades out of the view. And it's like, there was no monster. And it's like, what? It doesn't make sense. Anyways, the guy who made this movie was like, this movie was a parody. And it's like, a parody of what? No one knows, because it wasn't. It's like, that's what I mean. It's like these people where they make something, they fail at something, and then they're like, well, actually, it's a parody of something. And it's like, I don't know, I don't remember what point I was making with all of this. What is art?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. You got anything else?
How much does intention matter? Because even that could tie into the whole death of the author theory, which honestly I've come to a compromise on that. I think because there's no point in arguing. It's like people, they want to say it's like the author, whoever made the thing, they know what they made and they can tell you this is what it means. However, they have no say. People are like, well, the author doesn't control it as soon as it stops. And it's like, well, that's absurd, because that's contending that there's no such thing as an objective standard of truth. And of course there is, because if there is no objective standard of truth, then nothing has any meaning. So the author can tell you objectively, this is what this book means, but they can't, they have no
Hello?
say over the applicability.
Well, you're cutting out really badly. That might be our cue to quit. I think he's gone. Well, it's a heck of
But I can make that interpretation, and I can make that connection and think about it. What? I've been talking this whole time.
Yeah, you cut out real bad. I think the internet had enough of your rant.
I wasn't ranting. Well, how much did you miss?
Almost all of it.
Oh, gosh dang it. Where did I cut out?
I have no idea. You said something about how, like, the author there's an objective truth in what the author said.
There has to be an objective truth, because if there's no objective truth, then
he's gone again. All right, I think we're just gonna call it there.
Because some people like it. What?
You're cutting out again. We're just calling it here.
Oh, hold on. I really want. I'm gonna get this point out.
You might need to give it to me in writing.
No, hold on. I'll tell you. Okay, so the author,
yes,
when they make a book,
yes,
people say,
yes,
that perhaps,
yes,
the author,
yes,
doesn't have,
yes,
any more,
yes,
control over the work once they've created it, that it stands on its own, and but that's stupid. So the conclusion I've come to that is that the author can say, this is what the book means, and be right, but they have no say over what I got out of it. So the applicability. Tolkien said Lord of the Rings is in no way an allegory for war, but people can apply the themes in that book to the subject of war. So it has applicability, but it's not about war. It's not an allegory for any real life events. So that it's like, how does art fit into that? Does the intention matter, or does it entirely up to what emotion it makes people feel?
Yes. Cue the outro.
I guess this question will never be answered. We've talked for art. We talked about art for a while now, and have we come any closer to any kind of conclusion?
Nope.
Wow. But what was the point of this? Is this art?
You can't see it, but I'm shrugging. Yes, this is art. This is
the podcast art?
I would say so. I would say this is art. This is going to be my magnum opus.
Who knows? What do you think, viewer?
Send us an email.
I'm pointing at... Yeah, I'm pointing, but you can't see it because this is an audio thing, and there's no visual medium. Well, there were earlier. You can't download this podcast is the problem, because you have to get the video. I encourage you to download it for archival purposes, but you have to get the video because sometimes there's visuals. Anyways, this outro has been going on for a while now, so it's over, I guess. It's over.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shit. Okay. It's been too long since we've done this.
Was the outro not playing?
No, it wasn't. For some reason, I had in my mind that you have to say it's over and then I start the music.
Gosh dang it, we've been over this.
Bye.
Playing